Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Star vs. the Forces of Evil review. In this episode, like always, we got two episodes, Raid the Cave and Trickstar. Now, if I'm going to be 1000% honest with you guys, I kind of forgot the show started up again. I thought I still had a few weeks, but I was kind of really awoken to, oh yeah, it started up again. And then, as of the day I'm recording this, and hopefully the day this goes up, the 8th, there's supposed to be another episode today, so we'll see about that. But yeah, so the first episode, Raid the Cave. It starts off, right, so in the winter finale last year, Ludo took Glossaric, right? So now Star's trying to go get Glossaric again, right? Go find him. So she's packing this huge bag. It's, you get the joke, a strong, independent warrior princess, right? It's okay, right? And then Mark goes like, we need to call your mother. And it's like, no, we can't call mom. She's going to kill me. And I was just like, it's only a matter of time. You know, they're going to call the mother. I've really warmed up to the mother over, I've said this before, but yeah, she's a lot more interesting. Like, she's a lot less cold than I thought she originally was. So yeah. And then, so they go to, Muni, and boom, Buff Frog, and I'm like, yes, Buff Frog episode. I'm always down for another Buff Frog episode. He's so great. But no, he's just kind of, cause, remember, what was one of the episodes from the last year was like, Buff Frog was like, oh, I need to warn Star. And he has been sending her letters, but they're all in like scribbles and crowns, and she can't read them because he never went to school and learned calligraphy or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's great to see Buff Frog again. He gives her a map of how to navigate Ludo's fortress. So they head off, right? They ride their Warnicorns in. They go in, they start beating people up. And then they learn that the base has been abandoned by Ludo, and instead all these alternative monsters have moved in, who are basically civilized monsters, right? They're actually pretty funny. I kind of like, oh, we're using all these weapons to tear trendy holes into our clothes. It's pretty funny, right? And alternative monsters, they're on the right track here, because we got Buff Frog, right? Who is a monster, but gets along perfectly with Star. So now we have all these alternative monsters who don't really care, and who also get along with Star, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. But now she's like, oh, well, we can't find Ludo, we can't find Glossaric. We need a way. So she creates she brings out the all-seeing eye, right? Searches around for him, and does eventually find him, right? And he won't tell her where he is. So she goes and tries to reach through the all-seeing eye, which she says can't be done, but she still does it. And it's actually a really, like, the shot of her reaching through the eye is a really good shot. It's really well done. But she's like, but you're my friend. And he's like, friend's too loose of a word. And she kind of, she can't maintain the portal. She freaks out. I didn't expect her to lose her hand for a minute. This ain't Adventure Time. That always bugged me. But, yeah, so Glossaric won't come back because Ludo owns the book, but she doesn't, because the book's right there. Why doesn't she just grab the book? But whatever, right? You gotta keep Ludo with the book for now. But yeah, so she's not able to get him, right? He stays back. And the portal closes, portal. And Marco comes in and is like, oh, don't worry. I never really saw him as the team player type. And then some of these alternative monsters come in and is like, you're the rebel princess. We're your biggest fan. And knock, knock, knock. And she blasts them with like a strawberry blast or something. And again, this goes back to these alternative monsters allying up with her. That in Muni, monsters are changing and maybe will ally with the humans, right? Because we know about this whole one-sided war, so things are changing. And then So they get back to the house, and they call the parents, and she's like, oh, I'm in so much trouble. No, they're just like, oh, we're glad you're safe. We'll take care of everything. They're clearly panicking, even if they don't say they are. It's just the look on their eyes. And it's good that the show's able to do stuff like that, right? Like showing without telling. Well, we've seen it before, but yeah, they're clearly worried. So they're like, just don't do anything. But she's like, Rebel Princess ain't gonna stand by. And she starts her own spell book. And that's where it ends. And yeah, I kind of like that. Just her creating her own spell book. She starts writing down the narwhal blast and all that. It's an interesting direction, and I wonder how they're going to build on that. I kind of hope she starts creating her own spells, really. Well, more than she already has, I think. But yeah, no, good episode. And then the next episode is Trickstar? Yeah, Trickstar. So, it starts off, Star and Marco are going to Sensei's birthday. He doesn't have a name, weirdly enough, or at least they never call him by his name. But you're right, everybody's at this birthday party. It's a cool birthday, right? Oh, the mom gets a tattoo, the Sensei's mom. But yeah, he's got a bike ramp, right? And they're like, oh, he's super excited for a magician. Presto changeo. He shows up and he's cool, right? He's this magician, right? He appears out of like the grill. And he goes around doing tricks, but like every time he does one, he like this yellow like magic flies out of people and they start like crying and they get big, right? Their eyes, like their pupils dilate. And that's basically what he's doing, right? And Star's not having any of it. He's like, she's like, oh, I know something's up. He's doing something. He's using real magic, right? He's a real magician. She goes out to find him and eventually sees him just sucking all the Sensei's magic and confronts him and finds out he's a joy sucker. Not a bad idea. Basically, they never say he uses actual magic, but it's that he can suck people's joy, right? And that's how he does things, because he can't produce his own. So he plays a little trick, gets people to exert some joy, and then steals it. It makes him cry for like a second, but it doesn't seem to have any long-term effects. And then she makes him promise not to suck any more joy. And of course he promises, and he tries, right? She's like, I'm watching you, boy. And he's trying not to, but he's doing his whole big trick, right? You know the thing where they use the knives to cut the box, right? You've all seen this trick before on TV, right? But then eventually he does his whole big trick and he just starts sucking everybody's joy. And Star blasts him with her wand and is like, "See, I saved you all." Cause he explains that, no, oh, my magic isn't real. Oh, the box is fake, right? And all that jazz. And they're like, but you killed our love of magic. He may be stealing our joy, but we'll give him our joy. We just want to love magic. She's kind of the villain in this moment. And that's why this episode works. Is because she kind of wins, but she doesn't win either. I mean, like, at the end, Sensei is kind of like, you know, you didn't really ruin my party this year, but you kind of did. But next year, I'll forget about it all and we'll just go back to normal, right? But, so she kind of wins, but she doesn't win. Because he still gets away, right? He escapes in the trunk, right? And everybody's like, yeah, we're fine with him sucking a little bit of a joy. What does it matter, right? And then there's also the fact that Star isn't like the straw man in this type of episode. This works completely in line with her character. This is something she'd actually do. Because of course she's from a world with magic. She'd expect she's suspicious of other magic users. It makes sense. And yeah, that's part of why I like this episode as much as I do. It's nothing amazing, but it still works. And Presto's he's interesting. The idea of a joy sucker, I think, is really interesting. Those are the two episodes. It's a good start to the next part of the second season. Again, there may be another episode today, so we'll see. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.